15. So my son from scene. 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go scene.
Now, in high definition, sponsored by Nissan of Lake Charles. This is 7 News live at 5.
Go Key, Mike Q.
Good afternoon, I'm Cynthia Arsenault. Lake Charles police are involved in the investigation into a deadly crash that took one man's life. Police say he lost control of the vehicle this morning on Swift Plant Road, just past Highway 397. Lake Charles police say it all started when the vehicle rear-ended another vehicle on Broad Street and kept going. Police say the driver then ran a stop sign at Swift Plant Road and Highway 397. After losing control of the vehicle, the driver hit a tree and his vehicle was overturned on the property of the nearby FedEx facility.
Lost control while driving his vehicle. And
it's out 17 seconds. Memorial Hospital, more VO.
She was ejected from the vehicle. He was then transported to the Lake Charles Memorial Hospital, at which time he was pronounced dead at the Lake Charles Memorial Hospital.
Mike Q.
The investigation into the accident is ongoing. How teens interact on social media sites could land them in jail. That's the message the high-tech crimes unit of the Louisiana Attorney General's office want parents and their kids to know. KPLC's Jaron Jordan has the story.
Ask any one of St. Louis high school students like Robin McPherson how they interact on social sites, and they'll tell you.
With a banner.
3, avidly, Twitter, Facebook,
it's out. Then we'll answer key.
And it's that interaction that, if used the wrong way, could lead to a web of dangerous consequences.
Depending upon the offense and severity and how many times it has occurred, that could be up to 6 months in jail, or it could continue into felony status.
David Ferris works in the High Technology Crime Unit of the state's Department of Justice.
1 minute.
He works to educate students and their parents of the real risk associated with the latest forms of social media.
The problem is, though, you have to be very cautious about who you accept, because not everybody online is who they say they are.
At St. Louis, each student is given a personal tablet each school year. School officials say luckily they haven't been made aware of any situation where that technology has been abused.
Our kids have done a great job using the tablets and using them appropriately, and we're very thankful about that.
Still, everyone agrees you can never be too safe with something that can have fatal consequences.
Maybe they just aren't all quite as aware of the issues with safety as we want them to be.
Now I'm going to probably not use them as much, try to be more discreet about what I do on them.
And for parents,
you really need to understand what they do and how they work. So just do a little research as a parent and figure out where your kids are.
At your service in Lake Charles, Jaron Jordan, KPLC 7 News.
And Mikey Cynthia.
For more information on the high-tech crimes unit, you can find their information in this story on our website at KPLC-TV.com. A federal judge dismissed all claims against BP's drilling fluids contractor as the trial of the 2010 Gulf spill continued today in New Orleans. 11 workers were killed in that blast, triggering the worst offshore oil spill in U.S. history. After the plaintiffs rested their case today, the U.S. District Court judge ruled there was no evidence that the contractor made any decision leading to the oil well's blowout. The trial continued this afternoon with more testimony by witnesses for rig owner Transocean Limited. BP and Halliburton will also call their own witnesses. A federal appeals court has ruled some Benedictine monks can keep selling their handmade caskets in the state. That's after a ruling by the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, which upheld a previous court ruling in favor of St. Joseph's Abbey in Covington. The State Board of Funeral Directors ruled that only state-licensed funeral directors can sell caskets in the state. But the judge wrote that the directors offered no rational basis for their rule. An attorney for the monks called it a landmark decision. We're getting our first look from inside the new and improved Millennium Park at the Lake Charles Lakefront. Mayor Randy Rhodes this morning talked about the excitement ahead of Saturday's planned grand reopening. In addition to the swings and play sets for all the children to enjoy, there will also be a splash park.
It's incredible. Community and area businesses and industry
11 seconds by November. More VO coming back to 3 and 2.
Destroyed with the fire in January of 2011. We had rebuilt it by November.
Mike Q.
Kay Barnett says the community rallied behind their effort, helping them raise more than $400,000 to rebuild Millennium Park. The park officially reopens this Saturday at 10 a.m. Well, let's get our first check of the weather now on this first day of spring. Wade?
Yeah, and it certainly feels kind of warm outside. We had rain earlier this morning, though. You may have actually been awakened by some sounds of thunder or raindrops on the roof early this morning. All the rain has come to an end. Here's a look at your temperatures outside right now. 74 here in Lake Charles.
We'll come back to 3 and 2, then we'll go to centered on Cynthia.
In Oakdale, but it is kind of a breezy day outside. Winds out of a north to northeasterly direction, anywhere from 10 to 20 miles per hour. I do think once the sun sets this evening, though, these winds will calm down, and with that, the temperature will really plummet later on tonight, heading into the 50s and eventually into the low 40s. So definitely going to be another chilly night. You'll probably want to dig out those jackets again, especially if you put them away. Last week, a cool one.
I just took the electric blanket off my bed.
Less than 10 minutes.
All right, thanks a lot, Wade. President Obama vowed that Iran will never get a nuclear weapon. Those comments came during the president's first official trip to Israel.
We're going to mix to a side out of 2. We'll come back.
Earlier, the president said Israel had no greater friend than the United States. His comments today brought a smile to the face of Israeli leader Benjamin Netanyahu. The meeting in Jerusalem ended Israel's questioning about the president's resolve on Iran.
Options are on the table.
11 seconds, nuclear weapon coming back keyed. More BO coming back keyed. 5 seconds.
The president is determined to prevent Iran.
It's out. Stand by mic. Mic Q.
Tomorrow, the focus shifts to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. President Obama plans to visit the West Bank.
She's up on
Late this afternoon, the U.S. Senate
eventually
passed a huge spending bill to keep the government running through September. The move prevents a government shutdown, but leaves automatic spending cuts in place. That could still mean job furloughs for hundreds of thousands of federal workers.
Go ahead, take out your key.
Some cautious optimism from the head of the nation's central bank today over the state of the nation's economy. Fed Chair Ben Bernanke pointed to positive signs of growth over the last 5 months, including 200,000 new jobs added to the private sector, along with unemployment rates coming down 0.4% since September, and a drop in unemployment claims at their lowest rates since the start of the economic downturn. Despite that, Bernanke said it's too early to speculate on whether the nation has recovered economically.
We are seeing improvement. I think
24 seconds, number of months, more BO. We'll come back to centered for the video out of 2 and 3.
Improvement. So we've seen periods before where we had as many as 300,000 jobs for a couple of months.
10.
And then things weakened again. So I think an important criterion would
5
be
seconds.
not just the improvement that we've seen, but is it going to be sustained for a number of months.
Mike Q.
Bernanke added that banks considered too big to fail still needed to be reevaluated in a post-recession economy. Still ahead on Live at 5, a look at why a major retail pharmacy chain is asking its employees to lift their weight. And up next, the Southern News Report looks at how students can avoid the perils of drinking and driving.
1 is up in 3, 2, 1, fade, take it. It's a good block. 2.5. Yeah, well, these attitudes are never going to change because nobody does anything about it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go see. We just rewarded it. IQ.
This time of the year is a season of celebration for many teens. Many are making big plans for prom or graduation, while parents and event organizers are looking for ways to keep alcohol and drunk driving from ruining the fun. In today's 17 report, Ben Spicer looks at why students should play it safe.
Driving under the influence is the leading cause of fatal crashes in Louisiana.
It's an Academy TV, the outcue. We'll come back centered for the bump, then we'll go to the monitor.
Died as a result of an impaired drive.
State Trooper James Anderson says 60% of all teen deaths in car accidents are alcohol-related. But driving under the influence is not only dangerous for the driver, but also to the people around him. Like others on the road.
She was just on a regular run, and she was like, "Let me shoot him."
It's a scary thought because you never know if the person has pills or if he has alcohol.
That's
or
horrible.
just stolen something.
Anderson visits schools with his drunk simulation goggles to show teens how little control they have while under the influence.
It's a bad decision, regardless of your age. You're endangering other people. And
sometimes I think she just gives them cameras and like go for it. They just attempt, like no instruction whatsoever.
Over something that someone else did.
Anderson says that 1,200 people were arrested in the Truthie area just last year for impaired driving.
God.
Driving under the influence is dangerous, not just for teens, but for everybody. Whether it's driving under the influence of alcohol, prescription drugs, or anything else, it's not worth the risk. Ben Spicer, Academy TV.
And Mikey Cynthia.
Before celebrating, some parents and teens sign a contract for life. That's an agreement in which teens agree to call parents anytime they need a ride home if they or their friends have been drinking. In exchange, parents agree not to ask questions until a later time.
Well, mentioning driving, no major issues out there on the roadways this afternoon. Certainly some good news, and even the weather is beautiful this afternoon. I'll have a complete look at the forecast coming up right after this.
In 3, 2, 1, fade, take it. I took it before you could run away.
3 minutes for
10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go see.
Now your pinpoint forecast with Chief Meteorologist Wade Hampton.
Mikey
Well, good afternoon to you. I hope you didn't put the jackets away yet because it looks like it's going to be another chilly one coming up tonight. Temperatures are going to drop fairly quickly once the sun sets this evening. You kind of see the forecast trend through the evening and overnight hours. I think most of us are going to be down in the 40s by later on tonight. So, yeah, you'll definitely want those jackets first thing tomorrow morning. Then, could actually see some rain returning to our forecast as soon as Friday, but tomorrow looks good, and that is certainly great news because we've got our event coming up tomorrow afternoon in Jennings. We'll be at the Walgreens location that's on Highway 26 just south of Interstate 10, so be sure and come by and see us. We'll be there from 4 until 7 o'clock in the afternoon. You can come out and purchase your No Weather Radio right there in the store, and we will take care of programming it for you. And maybe you already have one at home. You can certainly bring it. I will be glad to check it out and make sure that it is programmed properly. Look at the satellite review of over the last several hours here across Louisiana. Yeah, we started off kind of cloudy this morning with those showers, but look at this. The clouds have exited even the southeast corner of the state. Completely clear skies from Shreveport all the way to New Orleans, Monroe, all the way to here in Lake Charles tonight. With these clear skies, temperatures are going to fall very rapidly. Of course, no rain out there. I don't expect any rain through tomorrow, but looks like at least probably a few showers will return to our forecast as early as Friday. More on that in a second. Temperatures outside right now because of all the sun this time of the year. I've explained it a few times before with it being this late in the season. We get almost a full 12 hours of sunlight, and the sun angle is getting higher, which means it warms up much quicker when the sun is out. So 74 now, Lake Charles 72, Oakdale 70, before Polk a little cooler near the coast, 69 right now in Cameron. Also a bit of a breeze out of a north to northeasterly direction for now. But I do think once the sun sets tonight, this wind will calm. Maybe not completely calm, but certainly calm much more than where we're at now. So it should allow temperatures to fall quickly. And this is another reason why I think temperatures are going to be cool tonight. Look at the dew points. Very dry air. 28
trying to get him to punch at 10 o'clock.
31 here in Lake Charles.
Most of the time. There's a random day.
Right now across the region. Clear skies for now, but there are clouds to our west. Some of those may get in here by tomorrow, I think for sure. We'll see some of those clouds as this high pressure system moves on to the east. My forecast for tonight, though, we'll go with a low temperature of about 42 here in Lake Charles. Could see some upper 30s in some areas north of I-10, maybe even a little patchy frost, especially on some of the elevated surfaces. So heads up again, especially in our typical cooler locations north of I-10. There's our rain chance on a Friday, and I do think some of those showers will linger into Saturday, too. Good news, it's not going to be a total washout either Friday or Saturday.
Stand by 3.
Hit or miss style showers.
3 is up. Stand by to cure to 2.
At least some more rain is on the way.
Stinking
thanks a lot, Wade. Coming up, new guidelines on when to put your baby on solid foods. That's coming up in our Health Minute.
And Faye, take it. That was weather. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go see. Mike Q.
The Food and Drug Administration is warning pharmacies about repackaging the cancer drug Avastin. Its active ingredient is also used in a drug approved for macular degeneration. So pharmacists for years have repackaged the drug into smaller vials for eye doctors. The FDA says 5 complaints have been received about eye infections in seniors. The FDA is recalling 40 lots of Avastin distributed in 4 states, including Louisiana. For more information about this recall, we've posted the entire story on our website, KPLC-TV.com.
And its own.
Employees of CVS who use company health insurance must report their weight, body fat, and other medical information or pay higher insurance premiums. The company told all employees who use the company insurance plan they must have a doctor determine their weight, height, body fat, blood pressure, glucose, and fasting lipid levels by May 1st or pay a higher premium for their health insurance. The penalty, $600 a year. In a statement, CVS Caremark says the move is designed to manage health-associated costs. CVS says it will pay for the screenings. Introducing your baby to solid foods is an exciting time. In today's Health Minute, Holly Furfer talks to an expert who fills parents in on what to do and what to expect.
First-time mom Becky Pittman is introducing her 4-month-old twins to solid food. Solids are usually introduced when babies are between 4 to 6 months old.
They'll eat a little bit, they'll spit a little bit out, they'll kind of just sit there.
Solids are usually introduced when babies are between 4 to 6 months old.
Before 4 months,
she just said
you run the risk of getting allergies, and foods can be a
I mean, like,
hazard.
she literally
if you
just
wait
said
much
that.
longer than 7 or 8 months, then babies get really used to a full liquid diet.
She's like, I don't know how to lead up to this thought. I'm just going to say it again.
Doctors used to recommend a very rigid order for the introduction of foods, but that's no longer the case. Now they usually suggest that parents offer their babies cereal, fruits, vegetables, or meats in whichever order they choose. Sometimes children have a bad reaction to what they eat, so wait a few days between the introduction of each new food.
Start the new food in the morning. That way a parent can watch a child for reactions during the day while the parent's still awake.
So you can be grossed out the entire day.
You might expect reactions such as a skin rash or hives, vomiting, or diarrhea if the child has a food that doesn't agree with him.
Pittman says so far the twins are doing fine. Next up,
we have
5.
or peas.
It seemed, just go get them allergy tested
For today's Health Minute, I'm Holly Furfer.
And Mikey, Cynthia.
A group of airline passengers stranded on the tarmac for hours because of bad weather received a very nice surprise. The Delta flight from Boston to Atlanta was diverted to Knoxville, Tennessee due to severe weather. They had to wait for hours on the tarmac, but not with an empty stomach. That's thanks to the pilot who called in an order for 30 pizzas.
And one.
They put the pizzas in the backseat of the car. Backseat of the cop
car. 20 seconds.
I
Best part, more BOG centered for the bump.
Delivery van out onto the tarmac
One will
at
give me a
the
zoom
airport for security reasons. People were taking photos left and right, and the flight attendants just couldn't stop laughing over it. It was still hot too. That was the best part.
Mike Q.
The passengers were never told who paid for the pizzas, but they guessed the call was made from the cockpit. On this, the first day of spring, we're going to dispel a popular myth. Up next on Live at 5, hear why the action of some excited school children isn't really based on fact.
In 3, 2, 1, fade, take it.
Every second, I love it.
Oh, yeah, 1 minute. I normally don't, but...
I needed it anyway, because we're...
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fade up, son of 1.
Years ago, then State Senator Vic Stelly authored a plan to shift some of Louisiana's
we do
sales tax
stops, don't worry about animating it out because you got that swoosh right afterwards.
Bobby Jindal, who then followed shifting political
this is a minute 33 standard out cue.
Only 6 years later.
We're going to go to stops after
this. And the legislature has begun fine-tooth combing the governor's proposal to eliminate the personal and business income tax in favor of new taxes on services.
All the channels except
for
beer.
One of the highest sales taxes in America. It seems to us this is as much about a presidential run as it is about anything actually benefiting Louisiana. Our first reaction is its potential negative impact on the poor and middle class. Living a boudin ball's throw from another state.
A boudin ball
concern is for area businesses whose customers might just cross the Sabine to dodge higher sales taxes back home. Perhaps coincidentally, a bill has also been filed to bring more transparency to the governor's office. Currently, documents from Mr. Jindal's office are shielded from public view if they're considered part of the deliberative process. Now, that includes education, road projects, budget cuts, and tax changes. With the governor's proposed tax changes on the table, the time is right for lawmakers to pass a transparency bill. And when it's passed, we urge our state's chief executive, who ran on a platform of increased transparency, to sign it the second it reaches his desk.
All right, In 3, 2, 1, go stocks.
7 News is
We're going to go to
at your
sound
service
from
with the
C
Stock
next,
Market Report,
then we'll come out to
sponsored by
center.
Sam A. Bear Financial Group. Perhaps we should talk.
Alright. In 3, 2, 1, go C. Stand by. My cue.
Today marks the first day of spring, or in
clear.
scientific terms, the vernal equinox. To celebrate the start of the season, a handful of New York school kids gathered in Brooklyn at sunrise.
We'll come back to 3 and a 2
the day by
for the close.
standing eggs on end. Now, as Wade will tell you, the entire thing is just a myth. Folklore states that raw eggs will stand on end during an equinox. It's actually possible to balance an egg on any day of the year, so long as you have the right egg and a little patience and,
1 minute.
as you were saying, just a sturdy hand.
Absolutely, yeah. That's all it takes is just being very steady with your hand, and you can do that. I assure you, do it tomorrow. You can do it next week, next month, next year, and the same thing goes with brooms, because that one went around for a little while too. Yeah, brooms. You can, if you're steady enough, you can get it to stand on any time of the year. Well, weather-wise, yes, today was the first day of spring. Officially came in at 6:02 this morning. Gonna be a little cool though to start out tomorrow morning. You'll probably want the jackets, and then we may need raincoats and umbrellas at least for part of the day on Friday and Saturdays. Tell all your friends again, you can do that extra anytime, not just today.
You're wise on 1.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us for Live at 5. We're back on in 30 minutes for 7 News at 6, and we're always on our mobile app and online at KPLC-TV.com.
Go 1.
Have a great evening.
You're up. 10. Oh, I've never heard that one before. A little stinger. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Paid ticket. That's. Yay.